Hey everybody, Elisa here, and in this video I want to have just like a very open and honest conversation about stress and product management and also just stress in careers in general. I'll admit this video is a little bit different than some of my other videos. A lot of my videos are a bit more rehearsed and I put a lot of research into them and really try to tell you all ways to get into product management or be successful in product management. And that's not necessarily what this video is. This video is more of an open conversation where I want to talk to you about the stress of product management. And so if you've been kind of interested in product but are concerned that it's too stressful, or if you just feel stress in your career in general, this might be the right video for you. But you know, if you're looking for like 5 tips to get into product management, this probably isn't the right video for you. But keep watching. You know, you're welcome to do that. I wanted to make a video about product and stress for a few different reasons. So I've definitely gotten questions from you all asking if product management is a stressful career path. I also have lately gotten really into Colors of Chloe YouTube videos. If you don't subscribe to Chloe, you definitely should. She's a product YouTuber. She's got better content than I do, so if you're watching this, just make sure you're also watching Colors of Chloe. Anyway, in her videos, she does a really good job of being really vulnerable about her experience in product, and she's been very open about how much stress she's gone under in product management. And so, you know, stress and product management have been kind of top of mind for me for a little bit. And then for the cherry on top, just like a few days ago, I had my first panic attack caused by stress from work. I had the first one that I've had in a really long time. I used to get them a lot, but I just was so stressed about work. It was like a Sunday night and I just kind of broke down. And so I was like, all right, I was already thinking about making a video about product and the stress of product and just stress and in careers in general. And so all these things just aligned, and that's why I wanted to make this video. So I want to break out this video into 3 parts. First, I want to talk about the stress of product management. But then I want to also talk about just careers and stress with careers in general. And I'll wrap with talking through some things that I've learned to cope with stress. And for those tactics, it totally depends on who you are and what works for you. So I'm not saying what works for me is going to work for you, but I figured I might as well share things that I've learned in my career journey so far. First, let's start by talking about the stress of product management. So, you know, I get the question, is product management a stressful job? Yeah, it's stressful. There's a lot of parts of it that are stressful. I mean, it's a very high visibility job. You can make a big impact on the company, which is great when things go well, but it's not as great when things don't go so well. You know, you often have to present to maybe a lot of customers at like conferences, but also there are a lot of like product proposals you need to do for management. I think in one of Chloe's videos, she talks about these and she calls it going in front of a firing squad when you do these presentations. Like, they're pretty stressful when you're presenting product proposals to executives. And so on top of that, there's just the deadlines. There's the fact that product is ultimately the go-to person for a lot of people in a company. Yeah, I just feel like a lot of responsibility falls on product managers. So yeah, I would say product management is a stressful job. Depends on the type of company, I'm sure, but in my experience, you know, I can confirm I've been stressed in product. So let's go into phase 2 of this video. I'd say yes, product is a stressful job, but I'll also say that I think most people get really stressed at work. Like, regardless of what job they hold, what industry they're in, how long they've been a professional, etc. So first, when I just think about different tech roles, you know, I have a lot of friends and family that are in tech in non-product jobs, and they all get stressed a lot. So like, you think of sales, and if you're on the sales team, you have to hit your quota every quarter, and the amount of money you make directly reflects how much you sold that quarter. That just feels so stressful, and a lot of times in sales, like, things are out of your control, but you know, you have to constantly hustle to like hit your numbers, which just feels so stressful. Also in tech, customer success can be extremely stressful. You know, Sam, my husband, is in customer success, and a lot of times he's dealing with really big customers who are really unhappy. And these customers are unhappy because probably like the product team didn't build something they said they would, or maybe the sales team like oversold the product. But it doesn't matter, because what Sam's job is to retain a customer no matter how unhappy they are, even if it's not Sam's fault, right, that they're unhappy. And so Sam and customer success managers, they're responsible for keeping customers, and it's really, there's a ton of pressure on success managers to keep those high value customers, even though like so much is out of their control. And then you think of like support agents who have SLAs and a constant queue of tickets, and they're talking to the unhappiest of customers. You think about people who are like engineers, you know, deploying code to production, which can be really risky. I mean, we've all seen outages in tech products, and like sometimes because, you know, there was a bad bit of code that went into production. And so really every role in tech, like I think there's a lot of stress. I mean, sales, marketing, success, support, implementations, like it goes on and on. I think every part of tech, you're going to have people that are really stressed out. And then the real kicker is you take a step outside of tech and you realize that so many jobs are so freaking stressful compared to at least what I've done in the tech world. So like doctors and nurses, like people's lives are on the line with their jobs. And you think the same with like politicians are making decisions that impact tons of people's lives. Think of the stress that like firefighters go through, or journalists who are in like dangerous countries. I mean, like the list goes on and on and on. There are so many stressful jobs out there. And so what I'm trying to say is, yeah, product is super freaking stressful, but I'm pretty sure everyone gets really stressed at work, no matter what role you're in. If you're an entrepreneur, you get stressed. If you're a doctor, you get stressed. If you are a product manager, you get stressed. So I think if you're really interested in product management, but you're concerned about the stress of the role, I wouldn't let that deter you from a product role. You know, if everything else sounds interesting, but you're just concerned about the stress of it, I just wouldn't let that be the one thing that stops you from doing product management. So the last part of this video, I want to just talk through things that I've learned in my career to deal with stress. And I hope that my tactics maybe resonate with you or give you ideas of things that you can do to deal with stress too. So I look at my career, and I did have a panic attack a few days ago, but really it's been a while. It's maybe been a year since I've had one of those big panic attacks. And when I think back on my career, I used to have those like weekly. I was really stressed out about work all the time when I was younger in my career. And I think a beautiful thing about growing and maturing is that you kind of learn how to cope with stress, and you learn what things you should actually get stressed out about and which things you definitely should not waste your time stressing about. A couple things that I've learned. One, if I notice that I'm thinking about work after hours, or like my brain is kind of spinning on it on a weekend, or I wake up in the middle of the night and my head is spinning about something at work, that is a sign to me that I'm way too stressed out about work and I need to consciously take a step back, at least for a couple days. So that step back could be, you know, considering taking a day off. It could be doing kind of a minimum viable day where you just kind of do what you have to do for a day and like really try to disconnect the rest of the day to recharge. And sometimes, like, if I'm not able to do either of those things, I have to consciously turn off my work brain and think about things that I'm really grateful for outside of work, or things that I'm excited about in the future that are not work related, and just remind myself that there is life outside of work, and that the things I'm stressing about at work are almost always not super freaking important. They're usually like small details. And then the final thing I do to deal with stress is I essentially try to be like as proactive as possible when I'm looking at my schedule, when I'm planning out my week, my month. Every Monday morning I look at my week, and any openings that I have on Monday morning, I block off my calendar. Like, I just know that I can't let myself get spread too thin, and so what I've committed to Monday mornings, like, I try to keep that commitment through the week. Obviously, sometimes like critical things come up, fine. Of course, you'll still accept meetings if they're critical, but generally people respect when you have time blocked off. And so I always make sure to do that at least Monday mornings, if not more frequently, to just kind of protect myself from getting spread so thin that I just get to that stress point where I'm not able to function. I also, every morning I have to create my to-do list, and I try to make it as realistic of a to-do list as possible. I'm comfortable also like carrying over things from a to-do list, so I look at yesterday's to-do list. If I didn't finish some of those things, I carry them over. That helps me stay on top of things. It helps me feel like the day is more achievable, like I'm not overwhelmed and just like drowning. And so yeah, I think like in addition to being able to recognize those triggers of stress, I think being proactive with blocking off your time and kind of structuring your to-do items, that also really helps, at least me, reduce stress. So those are just a couple tactics that I've kind of learned to deal with stress and just getting really overwhelmed at work. And so, I hope a couple of those things are helpful for you, or at least this conversation sparks some ideas in your mind of things that might help you if you get overly stressed. Because ultimately, being stressed at work does not help you at work. It also does not help you outside of work. So I think it's key to be able to learn ways to deal with stress and to reduce that stress as much as possible, because no matter what career you're in, you're going to be stressed at points. And there's disclaimers. Like if you're in a life and death type of a career, I don't have tips for how to reduce stress. That feels very stressful, and you're probably in that career path because you know how to deal with stress. So maybe if you're watching and you're in that role where you're dealing with life and death, then you should probably make a video about how you cope with stress. Anyway, again, I hope this was helpful for you. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. And if you want to hear more from me, please subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you next time. Bye, friends. Oh, also, I moved. So that's why I have a different aesthetic, different setup. Literally nothing is set up. This is all staged behind me. I'm not gonna turn the camera and show you all the boxes, but yeah. So that's a quick life update for you. Anyway, bye.